Might need to be
All right, here we go. We are live. We are live. We are live and blessed. Welcome back to the channel, Matt Garland, and MLS number 58700. Now, I'm going to get straight to the point, right? Because we got a full house today in the studio. But first, make sure you guys go to mgbookstore.com, pick up the latest and greatest books, and then like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. So we got a full house, man. I got my guys in town. So I said, man, y'all got to come to Long Island.
Which is not New York.
All the way to Long Island.
Let's be clear.
You know, they got caught in rush hour, right?
yeah,
Welcome to New York. It takes 2 hours to get anywhere during rush
It's
hour.
an art and science of trying to get around.
It is. It is. You got to be prepared mentally to deal with this New York traffic. But we got my guy, George. We got my guy, Carter, in the building.
Yes, sir.
And we also got another guest that y'all can't see because we don't have a fourth camera, but he's going to be like Vlad TV today. We got Tukes Productions in the building.
Where's the claps? We don't have any claps on this board.
That sounds plausible. Welcome back. I don't know.
Pause if applicable.
That sounded real plausible. Remember where you are, kid.
I forgot.
All right, so we got a full house today. This is, I think, the first time ever on the channel where we had 4 people talking on the show. We've never had this before, right?
Nah.
Okay.
We gonna make it worth everybody's watching. It's wild. We gonna give a lot of value. We gonna have some fun in here, bro.
It's Friday. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday night.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's
Thursday.
Not, it's
Thursday.
Damn.
But it's not.
Feel like Friday.
I know it's 80-something degrees in New York.
It had up in New York.
It feels like a Friday.
That lets you know how good of a time
But
I
hold
had.
on, you had a drink. You know you be on your Buff Bagwell shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can just drink straight, no juice, and you good.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the secret.
Yeah, it's the thing.
Oh,
All right, so let's talk about a topic that you guys are both very familiar with. How to invest without paying the IRS. Everybody type in chat, not paying the IRS, please. Because that's the name of the game, and that's how you really truly build wealth. And this is how the millionaires and multimillionaires and the 100 millionaires become billionaires. They minimize their taxes on the income that they're earning by investing, right? So let's break this down. Tukes, you jump in with any questions that you might have because I know you're very inquisitive when it comes to these type of topics.
Yeah,
so
I'll set the frame. Like, people think that the only way to save on taxes is by like spending money to get write-offs and then you like save on taxes. And that's cool. Like, that's like the childish, that's like the beginner way to save on taxes. There are actually ways that you can take your money, invest it, your money grows, and you save on taxes simultaneously. And like, once people understand that the more they invest, the less they pay the IRS, people will probably start investing more because they understand that you have 2 choices: either invest this money or give it to Uncle Sam, who's your silent business partner, who don't deserve the money. Because the reason that the tax code was written is nothing more than an incentive system. If you do what they tell you to do, they'll let you save on taxes. And the government wants you to invest your money. If you do that, you save on taxes, and then everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Big facts. And when you think about it, right, like the tax code incentivizes investors and incentivizes entrepreneurs, right? So the entrepreneur is the active income side, right? So, okay, cool. I go start this business. I make this money. But at the end of the day, you want to put yourself in a position where you don't have to rely on your business to live your lifestyle. Right. At some point, you want the cash flow to be coming from investments. At some point, you want to own your own business like an asset to where, you know, you're not relying on that. The business isn't relying on you to win. Right. So you got to figure out, how can I take this active income that I'm getting from my business or my job and put that into the market, put that into real estate so that it can pay me enough money so working is optional. And that's why they go hand in hand. Like he's all about the tax savings. I'm all about the investing, because for me, like, I got a 2-year-old son. And I want to have as much free time as I possibly can. And the way to do that is to have my money working for me even when I'm not working.
Have your money working for you when you're not working.
You can sleep in as long as your money never does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I called him one morning. I'm like, bro, wake up. You got to get some money. He said, bro, chill. My money woke up already. I can afford to sleep in late. I said, okay, let me get in this investing game. Show me your portfolio. Let me get in this investing game.
Which last month it did pretty well for you, right?
Yeah, last month the portfolio made $200,000. We are up $650,000 to date on that portfolio. So yeah, thank you.
Anytime.
I love it. Tukes, what you got to say about this?
I don't even know what y'all talking about, but we'll get there, I guess.
Oh my God. Yo, Tooks is back, yo. Tooks is
I'm paying attention.
Yo, this nigga.
I don't know what y'all talking about yet.
We gonna get there though.
When I catch up.
In typical Tooks fashion.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so let's talk about, first of all, you made $200K in your portfolio just last month, right? You're investing. What are you investing in? How are you making this type of money?
Well, this is my financial advisor, so he actually selected the investments. So I'll let him. You can kind of talk about some of the stuff in the portfolio, and I can talk about how I leveraged it to actually make more money. Yeah,
Big facts. And I also want to give people like the concept as well so that they can apply it to them, because I don't want people to be like, oh, that's exactly what Carter and George invested in. I need to do that. I want to give people kind of the concept. So regardless of what you do, you can still run the play, right? So the concept is simple, right? At the end of the day, you want to pay attention to what the big institutions are doing, right? And you don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? So when I came onto your platform, I talked a little bit about this, but like, so you figure Vanguard manages trillions of dollars in assets, right? They probably figured something out in terms of what investment should be in these index funds. So what I always tell people is like, for at least 50 to 60% of your portfolio, you should have globally diversified index funds. And all that means is that you have investments in those funds for companies that reflect the entire economy, right? And then from there, you can look inside those index funds. You can say, all right, cool. What are the winners? Which ones are really killing it? And make an educated decision based upon your own research and say, you know what, I want to own a little bit more, maybe Apple. I want to own a little bit more Eli Lilly. I want to own a little bit more Palo Alto, right? You already know it's vetted because it wouldn't be in the fund if it wasn't vetted. You just want to own a little bit more because it's the heavy hitter in the portfolio, right? So that's called a core satellite strategy. So now you have more exposure to the heavy hitters, but you're still protected because you don't have a whole portfolio of individual holdings. And that is how you can consistently outperform the market, because the market is typically just based upon the index fund itself, right? So that's pretty much how it's done. And so if you can, whether you invest in QQQ or VOO or VTI or any popular index fund, just go on Google, look inside of it, see what's in there, which make up the largest, let's say the top 10, 15% of the fund, and make an educated guess on, do I want to own some of these individually? And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, you'll beat the market.
Shout out to Apple, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Apple.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
I want to check my portfolio right now.
Shout out to Apple.
Bro,
Crazy.
bro.
Yeah.
But like, it's so crazy because like, you're literally sitting at home, you're using your iPhone, you're using a Mac, you're using an iPad, but you don't own the company that has all your devices at home. Like, and that's what's so wild to me, is like, people need to understand like Tim Cook, who's he still CEO of Apple?
Yeah.
Like you say, he works for me now. Every time he makes a good decision, it makes me happy.
Absolutely.
They just put together the Chat GBT plus Siri.
Very
great
good decision.
Cook.
Right.
That
Thank
made
you.
me a lot of money. And I'm gonna be able to use it
Yeah.
in my everyday life.
Yeah.
And the genius thing that I think a lot of people overlooked that they did with the Apple Intelligence is now people are gonna think Apple Intelligence is synonymous with AI.
Absolutely.
And all stocks that have any mention of AI right now are go crazy, right? Just because of where it is. So it was subtle, but it was so smart.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant, bro. So
AI.
like,
Apple Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Like, it's brilliant.
more people know about Apple than they know about AI.
Absolutely.
Right. So now people are gonna think, oh, you mean the Apple Intelligence thing?
Yeah.
Like AI isn't a thing, right?
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, and so the reason you can not pay the IRS is, so if I put let's say $10,000 in Apple and it grows to $30,000, I didn't sell the investment, so I don't have to pay taxes on the money on the $20,000 that just grew. But like, people are like, what if you need the money? And that's where you can strategically, I don't want to say this without being very specific, you can strategically borrow against the value of your portfolio. So if I invested 10,000 and now it's at 30, I can go and take a $10,000 loan from my portfolio. So I'm borrowing against my own money. And the IRS does not consider loans to be taxable, because if I sold it, I got to pay taxes on it.
Capital gains.
Right.
Exactly. But if I borrow against it, I don't have to pay taxes on it.
Exactly.
So if I want to borrow against that money in my portfolio and buy a real estate property, or borrow against that money in my portfolio and leverage it to scale my business, I can. So I'm getting the money growth, the appreciation of the stock. I'm getting access to my money, and I'm not paying taxes on the money that my money earned me. So like, it's literally the easiest way to multiply your money, by sticking your money into your portfolio, letting it grow, and if you need to use it for another investment, borrow against it, and then use the money from the new investment to pay off the interest that you got on the loan yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
So borrowing against your own portfolio, using that to scale to do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's investing in real estate, investing into your business,
Right.
into your brand, whatever it is, and you don't pay no taxes on that money because it's a loan.
Big facts.
So what kind of criteria? Now I'm not sure if you guys can answer this. Well, George, maybe you can answer this, right? More than Carter. Like when you're looking to go get a loan, somebody's looking to borrow from their portfolio. Like what's the criteria that the companies that are managing or hosting the funds, what's their criteria to actually get this loan out without any
Zero
penalties?
criteria. It's your money, right? So literally, that's how it happens. It happened in 10 seconds. You deposit the money. Let's say you buy a share of Apple, you buy whatever it is. There's a tab called Borrow. It'll instantly show you relative to how much money you have invested, how much you now have access to, right? No application, no credit check.
So you don't have to have an 800 credit score?
You can have a 500. It doesn't matter. And that's the beautiful part about it, right? It's like there is no criteria. Now, again, we've never advocated that people take that money and go trick it off and go buy something crazy. We're advocating that you're probably going to invest in your business, that you're investing in real estate, maybe investing in a business that you own but do not run, but that's another conversation for another day. And then maybe paying off some high interest debt, right? Because maybe your interest rate to borrow the money is 6-7%, and you have a credit card with APR 27 that you've been trying to pay off for a while. Now you can take that money borrowed from yourself to pay off the high interest debt, and now you still have that money that you got to pay back to yourself, but now it's at 7%, right? Which is going to free up more cash flow that you can probably reinvest back into the portfolio to then run other plays with. But there's no criteria, literally.
It's like when people say become your own bank with life insurance, and like that's a strategy, but some people aren't ready for that. They need to have you need to have money in your actual bank before you go borrow. Try to borrow your become your own bank.
That's period. Like if you don't have the money to invest in the first place, or you don't have money in your actual bank, then this strategy isn't something you need to be thinking about, right?
Yeah, you need to worry about stacking your chips.
Yeah,
100%.
First and foremost, before you're trying to run these type of strategies.
Yeah, so people looking for shiny balls. It's like, oh, that probably can get me out of this situation.
Pause.
I thought I was gonna make it out of New York alive.
Pause.
I thought I was gonna make it out of New York
Where
alive.
is the pause button?
I should have known I wasn't gonna make it out of New York alive. Yeah.
Continue.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think the reason that people don't invest because they think the money is like stuck somewhere. They think they think they can't access it. But with this strategy, you actually have the money available to you whenever you need it. And this is why this strategy, in my opinion, is better than life insurance, because if you try to do the life insurance route, cash value life insurance policies usually don't start gaining cash value for the first 2 years. You can borrow against your money the first 2 minutes once you invest in your portfolio. So I think that
And you don't have to go through an agent.
you don't have to go through an agent.
You do
don't
it
have to do all
yourself.
that.
Again, it's not to say that it's not a good option. It's just that we all know that the become your own bank via life insurance has been bastardized on the internet.
Yes,
Right? Like, is it a strategy? Of course it's a strategy, but people have been overselling the crap out of that thing for too long, right? And so my fear is that people look at something like that and think that that's the play for them, but it's like, nah, probably not.
No, it's not the play because you don't have enough cash value built up to even do any of that, right?
And they be getting mad, like, where my cash value at? It ain't there yet.
It ain't there yet.
The insurance agent ain't tell you that?
You
Nope.
only made one payment. Like,
I was told I was born against my
Yeah.
death benefit and I could. No.
it don't work like that. No, I agree with you. That be your own bank thing definitely has been run through the ground on the internet, and it's not fully explained.
But I will say the personal criteria. Now the similar to how in real estate, right? You're in mortgages, so you know this, right? Like they'll tell you what your debt to equity ratio is, how much home you can buy, right? You're probably advising somebody that just because the bank is saying you could afford this, that you shouldn't do this, right? So I would say some personalized criteria for their portfolio is if you already have a lot of outstanding debt that you have a trouble managing, you probably shouldn't be in a position where you're trying to borrow against your portfolio, right? Like if you can't manage your existing debt, that's some self-governing criteria that says, you know what, let me get my basic cash flow management in order before I try to go do this advanced strategy. Right?
I agree.
That's what I would say. But they're not gonna tell you that. You can access whatever you want. They're in the business of making money off of interest, just like the credit card company, just like the banks. So they're not going to tell you that. But what I would tell you is if you got some outstanding credit cards you've been paying the minimums on, don't run this play, please.
Yeah.
Agreed. Look, Tooks, put that comment from Adele on the screen real quick, right? I think that's a really good question since we're on this topic right here.
Adele, talk to us.
Right? So
Can you sing, Adele?
So Adele said, what happened when you borrow from your portfolio, and let's say 100K, but the stock market fell, and we got into a recession, and now your portfolio is now at 50,000. Do they want to pay off ASAP?
That's a great question. So portfolios have this thing called typically a margin call, right? And with the custodian that we use, typically your portfolio would have to drop by 68% for them to do a margin call. So what we recommend is that when you're leveraging this strategy, it matters what you invest in, right? It matters that you're investing in high quality assets that, yes, might have a sell off, might have a correction, but not a highly volatile asset that has a propensity to drop super low, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing that's a hedge of protection is because we're recommending that you're borrowing the money to buy other assets, that means that you have cash flow that you're reinvesting back into the portfolio, which is going to increase the margin for error, right? So as long as you're doing that, and that's the strategy, then there's 9.9 times out of 10 you won't run into an issue. But just like anything else, if you're over leveraged in real estate and something happens, you're gonna lose your shirt. Absolutely. If you borrow as 100% of the money that's available for you to borrow and you don't have no strategy getting money back into the portfolio, yeah, there could be a scenario and you're invested in bad and highly volatile assets because you thought it was gonna run up. Yeah, that's probably not the best idea. So as long as you're picking solid, stable companies, have the base of it being globally diversified index funds, you're going to be in good shape. We've never had a client, and I've been doing this for 13 years, that's had an issue doing that with that.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I think that's a great question. But one thing I want our people to start understanding is, and I told you, I read this in a book called Investor Mistakes Even Smart Investors Make. And it had this quote in the book I never forget. It said, more money is lost trying to predict a recession than in an actual recession. So our people, we like, well, what if the market falls? What if the market falls?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't and you're not invested?
Absolutely.
What if you missed investing in Apple and you just missed this run up of 10% in the last 2 days because you were, well, what if Apple drops?
I'm waiting for the next pullback.
Yeah. And what if you missed NVIDIA this whole time because you're like, man, NVIDIA ain't gonna keep going up. Wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? So more money is missed being scared on the sideline than it's missed being in the actual game. Like, we have to ask ourselves, what's worse? Living life on a sideline our entire lives, or deciding to play the game, fall, get a scar, but get back up and actually have a chance of winning. You can't win the game if you're on a sideline your entire life.
Agreed. Agreed. It's the same thing with real estate, right? Yeah. Everybody's been trying to time the market for the past 6 years.
Yeah. If you said in 2010, like, I mean, the market will crash again, you missed out on a great 13 years.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What's the cost of that?
Yeah.
It's always an opportunity cost for everything in life, right? Which cost are you willing to pay?
Which cost are you willing to pay?
Like, and how much are you willing to pay?
Right.
So you got to get in the game. You got to put skin in the game. You can't time the market, right? I tell my people all the time, stop worrying about timing the market. Worry about time in the market.
Big facts.
That is the most important thing with anything. Like, buy real estate now. Who cares? If you can afford it, it's a good deal. It's going to go up.
Right. If you bought right on the outset, right?
Yes.
Like, it's almost impossible for it not to
the money is lost on the buy, not the sale. So you got to make sure you buy right. And then you don't have to worry about what happens if you sell or not, because if you bought right, you should put yourself in a position to win.
You just got to hold it long enough.
Yeah.
People are that's
the reason.
That was definitely plausible.
Plausible,
I ain't gonna hold you up.
It's fault, man.
I'm not. Now I gotta
when
get
in
you
New
back.
York, they say when in Rome, right?
Yeah.
When in New York.
New York. It's in New York. Never had this problem unless to be in New York.
Tooks, you got anything yet?
Yeah.
Nah, I just need more examples or something.
Oh, so are we talking over your head right now?
Yeah, you are. For me.
Okay, so let's slow it down. How are we talking over your head? That's why I'm glad you're here.
Well, for me, I'm not investing in any type of company, or I don't have a portfolio. So where do I fit in this conversation?
So what's stopping you from getting started investing in a company? Like, I mean, you buy Sony cameras. I mean, I'm sure, like, what's stopping you from buying or investing in a company that you're a fan of?
I think it's more of like having the money like now, having that mindset to say like, all right, if I'm going to invest in something, I'll have that money later on. But like, it's kind of tough to like throw money into something that you're not going to get a return on right away. It's just like a consumer mindset that I have.
Let me give you this analogy I always give people, right? So it's like, I look at investing like planting a seed for a tree, right?
Okay.
When you get paid, right?
Yeah.
Those are the seeds, essentially, right? Now, most people do is they eat the seeds, right? They consume the seeds, right? I use the money now, like you said, to buy and do the things I need to do right now. When you plant the seeds, which is equivalent to investing, then now the tree grows. Let's just use an apple analogy. Now it's an apple tree. But if you nurture that apple tree every year, as long as apples are in season, right, it's going to reap a harvest, but you planted the seed one time, right? So the benefit is, yes, I didn't get the chance to eat the seeds right then and there, but now that I've let it grow into an apple tree, I get to pick from that tree every year, even though I planted that seed once. And that's the benefit of investing. You're paying it forward for your future self because you're young, healthy now, got all the energy in the world now. But it's like what I'm doing is I'm setting myself up to where I don't gotta go work to earn the seeds no more. Now all I gotta do is pick from the tree that I planted from the seeds a long time ago.
Right.
So that's why we have to think about investing differently.
So when you mentioned the camera, like equipment, how could I invest into a company like that? Like what do I have to do in order to invest in, like, let's say Sony or Canon?
Let's look at the ticker for Sony. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it's but the how is simple. The how is, right, so you open up an account like with Robinhood or Charles Schwab. These are just investment institutions where you can buy funds, right? And each company is represented by like a 2 to 4 digit ticker symbol, right? So the way that you would do it is you're like, okay, I'm gonna transfer $500 from my bank account, right? I'm gonna look up Sony. How has Sony done over the past 2 years, 5 years, whatever? Do I believe it's gonna continue to trend upwards, right? You don't, with investing, just like, even in your business, you don't know for sure if you invest time in the podcast, is it going to get you to 100,000 subs? But you believe it because of the research or the facts that you believe.
Right.
Same thing with investing, right? So if you believe that company is going to perform well, the how is very simple. You look up the ticker, you transfer the money from your bank account, you press buy, and now you are an investor in that company. You are a part owner in that company, right? Let's say that a company represents a pizza, it's like a pizza, and every time you buy a share, right, that's like a slice. Okay, boom, I got another slice of the pizza, right? And that's the how. And it can happen within 5 minutes. Before this conversation is over today, if you wanted to do it, it could be done. That's how simple it is.
So now, let's say, is there any benefits to doing that? Well, since we're on the topic of taxes and saving, like, how would I benefit now if I don't have that much money invested into a company?
Yeah, and I think it's not about how much you have invested. Like, time is the best asset you have. Like, if you look at like 2 different examples, and one person invested $100,000 but only did it for 5 years, and one person invested $10,000 but did it for 30 years. Yeah, the person that had 30 years is going to win every time because time beats out the amount of money invested. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's not about the amount; it's about the time you have invested. But from a tax standpoint, you don't get a tax deduction for necessarily investing the money right now. Right. But depending on what account, if you would take that money and put it in a Roth IRA and then buy Sony after, that money will grow tax-free forever. So if you invested $5,000 and turn to $100,000, you don't have to pay taxes on that $95,000, right? There was a guy that bought Peter Thiel. He knew he was a early founder in PayPal, and he bought all his shares in this Roth IRA account because he knew PayPal was going to explode because he was an early founder. He invested $2,000, and it turned into like $100 million or something like that.
A lot of money.
A lot of money, and he didn't have to pay any taxes on that, bro. Like that should be
illegal. I think it was over $1 billion because
why did he have to pay any taxes on it?
Because
it's in a Roth IRA.
Because we have a Roth IRA. You can buy whatever investment you make in that Roth IRA, it grows tax free forever. So he bought in like early shares of PayPal, like with the Roth IRA, with $2,000, knowing it's about to blow up because he was able to buy it before it went public. So knowing it was about to blow up, and he bought it in a Roth IRA, so it went from 2,000, I think maybe $1 billion or more, and he paid 0 taxes on that money, bro. Like, people are playing a different game, and as a people, black, brown, we got to catch up. We got to strap up the shoes, like, because like the game is being played at a high clip. Do we want to play the game?
Right. So I'm gonna get back to your question about Sony stock. So I just looked it up. Sony is currently, you can buy Sony for $84.10 a share. Right. So I'm sure that you have no equipment that you paid
less than $84.
Right, less than $84, right?
Hell no, these mics are like $800.
Right. And it's lifetime.
Like what?
Sony's lifetime return percentage-wise is 1,232%. Right? So it's gone up 1,232% since inception. So that's why
you would have made 1,000 times on your money had you invested when it
so whatever that stock started at, they up. Whoever stayed investing into it.
From what time though?
From inception. From whenever it came out.
Okay.
So it came out, it IPO'd, initial public offering, in 1985, and of course the stock is still public today. The past 5 years, it's done a little over 63%.
So what's that? 38 years that
Mhm.
it's been in on the
Yeah.
stock exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? 1100% return, which is
1100%
Yeah.
over.
it's
Yep.
crazy.
And like the thing that was crazy for me, when I first started looking at stocks, if you look at most stocks over time, it goes like this. Like I mean, eventually it dips it down, but like over time it goes up.
Right.
So like I really don't even worry about, like, I know it's gonna go up. Whether it go down right now or not, I have the peace of mind that knowing because the economy is gonna grow, like because companies are gonna grow, it's gonna go up over time. And like if you own companies that you know aren't, Amazon's not going anywhere. As far as Google, not going anywhere. Facebook, like these companies are
Yeah.
around for a very long time.
And by the
have a
time
use case.
and by the time they do go somewhere, you made so much profit
Money,
it don't
it
even
don't even
matter.
matter.
It's like,
Don't
oh,
even matter.
okay, cool. I've ran it up for 30 years. It's cool. I'm gonna take my money off the table at this point. Right? It don't even matter at that point.
Same thing with real estate, though, right?
Yeah.
If you look at real estate charts and historic of real estate, there's not too many of these.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like depreciating. If you really look at the charts, there's only a few times in history where real estate has depreciated.
Yeah.
But in most cases, it's like this. It's
Yeah.
ups and downs, but not really depreciating.
Yeah.
And if it does depreciate, it's only for maybe a year,
Right.
18 months, 2 years. But then it's skyrocketed. So since the Great Recession, if you look at where homes depreciated to now where they are, imagine if you purchased in 2011, 2012, when everybody, just truth be told, everybody then was still talking about, yo, the market's still gonna crash.
Yeah.
Don't buy right now. I'm talking about 2010, 11, 12.
Mhm.
People were saying that, oh, in 2 years. Everybody's predicting shit,
Yeah.
and they're always wrong.
Mhm.
Real estate is going to last through the test of time. The stock market is going to last through the test of time. You can't go wrong with investing into these assets, even if you don't make money right now. So I don't even want you to have that mentality like, yo, for the right now, because you can't think about, what are you, 35? 32, Toots?
I wish I had a camera for that, but no.
How old are you, Toots?
33.
You're 33 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
You can't think about 33-year-old Toots. You got to think about 43-year-old, 53-year-old, 63-year-old Toots.
Right.
So you got to think about 30 years from now, you're 63 years old. If you putting all this money in all the equipment and stuff that you're buying, if you buying these stocks, even if it's $100 a week into Sony, into things that you are using on an everyday basis, you put $100 into Apple, stuff like that, set it and forget it. Like, you can afford to do that. You budget yourself $400, $500, $600, $700 a month, just put it to the side.
Yeah.
And that's like your savings account.
Yeah.
You don't even think
Yeah.
about it.
That's
You-
true.
You know what
With
I'm
a
saying?
much better return.
Yeah, exactly. So I got a question for you. Are you a shoe guy at all?
I used to.
Oh, no. This guy's shoe collection is crazy, bro.
Okay. So
He got a crazy collection,
cool.
bro.
I figured
stopped buying
you're a shoe guy. So if you went to a shoe store and you saw your favorite pair of Jordans, but they was on sale for like 50% off, what would you do?
Well,
Like, honestly, like what? Like,
I'd buy them.
right? But
Yeah.
they're 50% off, right? Okay, cool. So you would buy them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when you would buy them because they're at a discount, right?
Yeah, that's a snatch. Yeah, yeah.
Snatch, it's steal. So if you're looking at a stock and it's down 10% or it's down 20%, isn't that stock on sale?
See, it's hard to look at it that way though for me, because then in my head it's like I know it'd probably either tank or go up. Like there's like once you buy the shoe, you have it, right?
Uh-huh.
So how does that
tangible
translate
to you.
to?
It's
It's
tangible
tangible,
to you.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
you own the stock. The stock is tangible. But like that's the difference between a consumer mindset and an investor mindset. As consumers, like what if the stock goes down? Well, guess what? That means you're getting to buy it at a discount.
Right.
Just like if you went to the Jordan store, like you know that the value of that shoe is going to rebound. It's on sale right now, but you know the true value of that shoe, so you're going to buy it, even though it's on a discount. So if we can start looking at stocks and saying we look at our favorite shoes, our favorite shirt, our favorite cameras, our favorite phone, then we can change our consumer mindset to an investor mindset. Because when the stock goes down, in my opinion, I'm like, yo, I need in
Yeah.
because I'm confident that I know the value of that company.
It literally happened today. I was out shooting content. I'm actually doing a new content series called I'll Invest, right? Like grocery aisle, to show people like everyday items that they're using, how they can actually invest in them, like the cereals they eat, all that kind of shit. So I was
Double
we,
entendre.
so we went. Yeah. So
I like that.
So I was at near Flight Club, right? And so there's young kids just graduated college. They had all these shoes. I walked up on them. I was like, yo, what's this about? I was like, yo, we actually got these for slightly under retail. We about to sell them, about to flip. So like, it's all the same concepts. You buy low, you sell high, right? Or in our case, you buy low and potentially you never sell, right? Because you can borrow against the value of your investments, right? So to your question about how do I access the money now, like Ray, you shouldn't be in that mindset of wanting to access it now. But let's say you, for the rest of the year, you invested in Sony or whatever else, right? It's like, man, okay, it's growing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I want to go make this other investment, right? You can technically access the money now without having to sell your investment because you could borrow against it to go buy something else, right? But it's always when you look in your bank account and look at what the bank is giving you to have your money. The bank is not giving you no incentive.
The bank is robbing you, actually.
They're robbing you, right? Because every year it costs more and more money to pay for every like y'all remember that college apartment that you had that you wish you could still go have, you wish you could still buy today. It's probably $800 a month or something crazy like that, right? Cost of living keeps going up, right? We have to have something to keep up with the cost of living. Investing is that thing, right? Because as your money's growing, it's outpacing the cost of living, which makes everything else not feel so expensive. But when what the money you earn feels kind of flat, it's not going up that much, but your investments are, it kind of offsets it. That's the end game, honestly.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So what happens when, because I know you mentioned something about the Roth IRA with PayPal, and him not paying taxes on that money. So how did that work? How did he use that money to invest into that and not pay taxes on his up?
Yeah, so he took his $2,000 that was in his bank account.
Okay.
He opened up a Roth IRA. It takes 5 minutes online.
Right.
And he just transferred the money from his bank account into the Roth IRA. The IRA is just like a bank account. It's just like you don't have to pay taxes bank account. Like it's like a get out of jail free bank account. And then he took that same $2,000 that was in his bank, put it in his IRA. Then he used his IRA to buy the shares of PayPal.
How?
Just online. He had to buy.
He
had to buy a different way. He had to use a self-directed IRA, and he owns shares. It's a little bit more complicated, but basically, he took the money in his Roth IRA and said, "I want to give you this $2,000, and if the shares are trading for a penny a share, he's able to get 200. I'm sorry, he's able to get 2,000 shares, and that's it. And then he just sat and waited for everybody in the world to hear about PayPal, and it went from 1 cent or whatever he bought it to $96 a share, and he got all that upside, and he can use that money. He can use that money and pay no penalties after 59.5. But if he wanted to use it today, he can still use it. He just have to pay 10% in taxes to use that. But 10% is way better than 37% because that's what everybody else is paying on their money if they're making that type of money. So he just moved the money from bank account, Roth IRA, use a Roth IRA to buy the asset.
So shouldn't that be the play with everything though? So you save on taxes?
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, because you got with investing in retirement, a Roth IRA is a retirement account, right?
Yeah.
If the money came from your bank account, that means it came from your paycheck. If it came from your paycheck, it means you got to pay taxes on it, right? So the reason why you don't got to pay taxes on it again is because you already paid taxes on it.
Right.
Now, if you wanted to decrease your tax liability, you might put it in a traditional IRA or a 401k because it's going to decrease your tax liability today. But because it's just tax deferred, when you hit retirement, then you got to pay taxes on it, right? So you kind of want to play the balancing act, right? It's like, okay, well, if I have a tax problem today, I want some of my money, I want my tax liability to decrease a little bit. But I don't want to put everything there because I don't want to have to worry about taxes when I'm old either, right? So that's the game. It's like, how can I balance out decreasing my tax liability today while also not having a high tax burden in the future? Because I'm not a betting man, but if I had to bet where tax rates were going up or down in the future, it might go up.
And the reason I like try to do Roths now because I don't ever plan on making less money than I'm making right now. So as I get older, my tax rate is going to go up. So I'd rather pay taxes a little bit now and never pay taxes on that money in the future. But to your point, that should be the play. Why aren't we maxing out our Roth IRAs every year and then using that Roth IRA to invest and never pay? That's the play. Yeah. The question is why aren't more people running it? Because they don't know the play.
I ain't know the play.
Now you know the play. They're in a room with the right people.
Right. They don't know the play and they're not getting celebrated and acknowledged for running the play, right? Which is exactly why we have a whole platform that's dedicated to celebrating people on their wealth building milestones, right? So I was in our community the other day and we were looking at people who maxed out their Roth IRA, ironically enough. They fully funded their emergency fund.
The girl in the call yesterday, her account reached over 500,000.
Her net worth.
Her net worth went over 500,000.
Went over $500,000.
And she was able to brag about it in a room because we celebrate financial accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? And it makes people want to achieve a financial accomplishment versus getting rewarded for buying a Gucci belt and somebody said, "Nice belt, bro."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You'll get they get to walk across the stage and they get a trophy that says, my net worth is $500,000, my net worth is $1 million. And last year alone, we helped our community improve their collective net worth by $60 million.
60 million. Let's talk
60
more about
million.
the community real quick.
Yeah, so we have a platform called the Melanin Millionaires Club, and our goal is to help 100,000 people of color achieve their first $1 million in net worth, which will effectively decrease the wealth gap by $100 billion, right? And so what we wanted to do is, I learned this in marketing in school and in college a long time ago. My marketing professor, he said, people will do more for recognition than they will for money, right? But typically that is used as a way to exploit people, right? Like people want to feel celebrated when they get the new car or the Gucci belt or whatever, like Carter said. We're like, well, let's flip that on his head and let's celebrate people every time they hit a wealth building milestone, right? My peers looked at me like I was crazy. It's like, man, ain't nobody about to tell you how much money they got. That's crazy. If you do it right, they will, because people want to be celebrated. So knowing that we have an event, they're going to get a trophy, they're going to get a plaque, and they're going to get recognized for their efforts. People are literally like, yo, like, when's the deadline to submit to max out my Roth IRA so I can prove that my net worth is over 100,000 so I can get an award? It's the craziest thing that we've ever seen, but it's a beautiful thing because, like, you only get rewarded by us if you actually have it, if you keep the money. We don't care about how much you spend on ads. We don't care about your revenue number. That's cool. We care about, have you kept it and have you purchased assets so that you can create generational wealth for real in real life. So
I love that.
that's what we're doing.
So how people join us?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, melaninmoney.com.
Well, actually, the better thing, we
The
are,
better thing.
we are having an event
Yeah,
coming
see it in
up.
person. See it
Yeah,
in person.
seeing it as a person would
Yeah.
be lit. Yeah.
So talk about the in-person event.
Yeah, so as George mentioned, we have the award show where we're celebrating our community members for hitting new wealth milestones, but we're also going to have a day of straight education. So whether you know nothing about investing, you know nothing about taxes, you know nothing about wills and estates and building that financial wealth plan for your family, you can come have a full day of education. We have some crazy speakers, including ourselves, to talk about building tax-free wealth, investing, building up generational wealth for your family. I'm even going to teach some strategies about how to pay your kids tax-free from your business, and your kids never have to pay taxes on that income either. We're going to be giving all the strategies in our education day. And that's going to be held at something we call Wealth Weekend. And Wealth Weekend is going to be in Atlanta, July 26th through the 28th.
Correct.
And
Wealth Weekend.
Wealth Weekend.
Good name, right? That's all him.
Wealth
Yeah,
Weekend.
yeah. Wealth Weekend. So we can give you the link or whatever. It's
And we'll give us people a discount too.
okay, sure.
Yeah. Use code WEALTH for 20% off.
What's the website?
melaninmoney.com melaninmoney.com /wealth weekend, I believe.
Yeah, and we'll give everybody 20% off. Use code WEALTH. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a vibe, right? So we got the education first day. We want to make sure that you come for that, right? Learn the wealth building strategies. Then the next day, we're going to have our award show where you're going to see
Text it to me real quick.
Okay.
where you're going to see some of our clients who have achieved those milestones. We also recognize pillars of the community who are helping us close that gap and spread this mission along in their own way, like MG.
Yeah, you're nominated, brother.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. I didn't win last year. I didn't win last year.
Being nominated is a win, brother.
Like I'm hoping I want a trophy. Goddammit. Where the hell's my trophy? I'm putting in work over here,
Big
man.
facts. Big facts.
Yeah, nah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Wait,
so-
hold on. So before you go on, this is all happening. So I thought it was just an award show.
Nah. We turned it into a whole situation.
So why I'm not teaching?
I mean, we
What do you want to give you a break? You shut the house down in Dallas.
We just brought you
Yeah.
to Dallas. I thought, I ain't
I'ma
want
be in
to.
Atlanta.
You want to ask too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Atlanta already.
Okay, we can figure something out.
Let's
But
figure this out.
We are having a full day of education because again, we want to educate the people first, and then so when they watch people get celebrated, like, okay, I know how to get there. I'm not just watching something that I can never attain. We want to educate them, teach them how to get there with their first 100K, their first $500,000, their first $1 million, and then they can watch other people be celebrated, and then we go turn up that night at our sneaker ball.
Yep.
It's gonna be an
it's
entire
a whole
weekend.
situation, man.
What's the discount code again?
Wealth. Use code WEALTH. Right. 20% off. I know it works because I just had to set it up for that.
I was like, how do you know we had a promo code? Like, ooh.
Success, love, speed.
Success, love, speed.
I
All
love
right,
it.
So I put the link in the chat right now.
We need all the MG's community there. Y'all tap in.
Yeah, Wealth
tap in.
Weekend.
Wealth Weekend,
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia.
I thought it was just a award show.
Nah, bro,
I didn't
we-
know it was a whole like
Because
situation
the
happening.
thing is we decided to do it in December with same weekend as Art Basel, which was crazy, but it still was a success. We knew that this had to be our thing, right? We had to get this out there. We had to make it happen. So we wanted to like get the award show right first. We did that December of last year, but now every year going forward, Wealth Weekend is going to be a whole situation. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better, and this year's going to be crazy. So make sure y'all tap in.
Wealth Weekend. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah, bro.
That sounds like a
You
weekend. I need to be
you
a
like
part
the
of.
way it looks too, bro. It's gonna
Oh,
be crazy.
shout out to Tori. I already know.
Oh
that.
yeah, Tori gonna go.
I already know the war show. I saw the
crazy.
footage from the war show last year, and I'm like, yo, what the hell? Is the
Yeah.
Grammys or something?
Yeah.
Like
Hey, listen.
Like that
Hey.
thing was looking spectacular.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's the vibe, man. You know what I'm saying? Got to show up at excellence.
Nah,
You know, gotta show up at
that's
excellence.
pretty dope, man. Tooks, you got any? Well, hold on. Miss Betty has something really good. Put Miss Betty. Shout out to Miss Betty. I love
Miss
me
Betty.
I love me some Miss Betty. Right, put her question on before we wrap this up. She said, "Should we invest in a 403b and a Roth IRA, both for retirement?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because the 403b is probably sponsored by your employer and is going to have higher contribution limits. And hopefully they're matching on some level. And that's going to decrease your tax liability today. And the Roth IRA is going to be outside of work. And that's going to be money that won't be taxed ever again in the future.
And you own the Roth IRA, meaning you can control whatever you want to invest in. With the 403b, you're gonna be limited to what you can invest in. But doing both cannot hurt Miss Betty. Okay, so we don't believe in either or. We believe in both.
And
Yes, sir.
I agree with that. Real estate and stocks.
You already know.
You know what
I
I'm
need
saying?
it all.
It's not or. It's always and.
how do you feel about REITs as a real estate guy?
I think it's a good way to get into real estate investing
Yep.
if you have limited capital,
Okay.
right? And you want to be a real estate investor.
Yeah.
I think from a return perspective, me personally, I would personally rather go into something a little bit more
I
aggressive.
agree. Yeah.
I like options.
Yeah.
I like stocks for a long term, but I also like options, get some contracts.
Yeah.
And you can win on both ends.
For sure.
If it's going up or if it's going down. REITs is, what is REIT going to pay out? 3%?
Yeah. I'm not big. I mean, I was
You know
curious.
what I'm saying?
I'm not a big fan.
It
of
doesn't
REITs
pay
either.
out a lot.
Yeah.
So like for me, and then also the commercial real estate market is going through a whole other situation.
That's a whole
right?
another.
So
Yeah.
I think there are some good REITs out there.
Yeah.
So I will never discourage anyone from investing into something like a REIT.
Right.
Actually, we should have more REIT content on the channel. Now that I think about it, just so people can understand how it truly works.
Yeah.
But me personally, I would not invest into a REIT. Me personally,
I feel that.
I
If you're gonna do real estate, do real estate.
yeah,
If
if
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
buy,
stocks,
I'd rather the brick and mortar in his mines,
Right.
right? Not depending on the corporation. It's like with anything, right? Like that's why I like self-directed IRAs and things of that nature. So that way you're dictating what you're investing in, not some fund,
Yeah. No, it's facts.
some management. Like you don't know them.
Yeah.
They just let's say even with your 401k, you see all these options you don't know. Moderate, aggressive.
Right.
They got all these different things in here. You don't really know unless you understand the market.
Right.
But that's why I'm an advocate of having people like you guys on my platform to teach, because I don't think it's just about real estate. It's about everything. And we need to know, how do you tie in your real estate in this and to make it one? Because we have to look at the whole wealth playing field.
Yep.
And not just one asset class. We got to look at
facts.
everything. So me personally,
facts.
stocks, options, real estate, life insurance, it all plays. And then also taxes, learning how to minimize.
Mitigate. Yeah, the taxes on everything.
It's most important, right? So you
'Cause you can make all the money in the world, but if you're not keeping none of it because you're giving it back to Uncle Sam.
you're giving it back to Uncle Sam, pretty much 50% of it.
Yeah.
And if you live in a state like New York, you got state taxes, city taxes,
They tax y'all crazy.
They got congestion prices now for even driving to Manhattan, right? Like it's absolutely,
What?
yeah, you drive to Manhattan, you get taxed.
That's crazy.
In New York, you get taxed on everything. You breathe,
That's crazy.
tax. Like you're alive today, tax. Everything is taxed in New
That's
York.
crazy.
So when you live in states like this where it's heavily taxed, you have to learn how to play the game at a very high level, so that way you can keep more of your money.
I love
to
it.
where you need to be.
I love it.
Tooks, you got anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up? Because I think Carter had to go take an important call, right?
I think all right, the wings got delivered.
The
you
food came. I
you
forgot
never
all
get in the
about
middle
that.
of a black man and some chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ran out of here.
Wait a minute, he can't even get inside though.
Oh, you can't get back in?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I'm like, yeah, he's cooked.
Yeah, he's cooked right
He's
now.
cooked.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, so
We
look.
better wrap. So
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up. On behalf of you and your partner,
Yeah.
final words.
Wealth is made through concentration. It's preserved through diversification. And what I mean by that is why we talked about investing in real estate, why we talked about investing in stocks, invest in yourself, right? Continue to show up to this channel, continue to tap in with people who can teach you and educate you on how you can become a person of value so that you can have the financial resources to make the investments. And that's it.
Very important. Tell them how to find you and tap in with you and Carter.
Yeah, so you can. We're most active on Instagram from a social perspective, so you can follow us. I'm George Achimpong Jr. He's Cofield advisor, Cofield_advisor on Instagram, and also you can tap in with our YouTube channel, Melanin Money.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Tap in with my brothers. Welcome to New York.
My guy,
I appreciate
I made it out with only one pause.
It was a super pause, dog.
Shiny was
Super
crazy.
pause.
That was crazy.
Shout out to Carter. He went to go get the wings. This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the wings came Uber Eats. You gotta go get the food, man. The
Big
brother's
facts.
hungry. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
We got Tukes Productions in the building. We ain't got no camera, but he's like Vlad TV today. But it's all good.
And he's gonna buy some Sony stock potentially.
And he's gonna
Yes.
buy some damn. You know what, Tukes? That really got to be a goal of yours, right? Every month you should probably, every time you get some money, put 10% aside into some stocks.
Right. Just look at what you're
10%
using.
10% ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Minimum $100. Put it into stocks. You can get fractional shares. You can buy. You got Cash App, right?
Yeah, I have everything pretty much. Yeah.
You have Cash App, so you can buy your stocks on your Cash App.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Make it
Yeah.
simple and easy for you, right? You ain't got to do Robinhood and learn E-Trade counts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You can just buy it right on your
Right.
Cash App, something that you're familiar with, and just buy your stocks and just get started with it. You know what I'm saying? Get into the habit.
Yeah.
You know?
And then once you see your money working for you, you're like, okay, I gotta do more of this.
Yeah, and you're gonna wanna
Yeah.
learn, and now really start putting more money in because you need it, bro. You need
Yeah.
it. You ain't getting younger.
Nah, that's true. I'm not trying to be setting up cameras the rest of my life.
Well, there you
Right.
have it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to be setting up cameras the rest of your life, and you guys don't want to be doing whatever you're doing right now for the rest of your life. So make sure you invest and learn how to invest, and most importantly, learn how to invest without paying the IRS
Big
and giving them
facts.
all your money. All right. So this is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, but I'm better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.
Stuff.